Folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. I want to talk to you today about quite a few things that's going to very possibly, at least that's what a lot of experts are saying, are going to kind of come together, come to a head, come to a point, come this summer. This has been something that I've been saying for months now, and many others have been kind of sounding out the warning that it looks like by this summer things are going to start getting kind of bad. And I want to show you some things here in just a minute. I want to start off by saying that another YouTube channel that many of you all know, Pinball Preparedness, looks like he is on another 1 week ban, apparently. He has an alternative channel, Pinball Prepping. That's where he's posting stuff over there. This is getting ridiculous. The reasons why that they banned him this time absolutely make no sense whatsoever. Apparently they knocked him on giving medical misinformation for the on a video that he never once talked about that. So anyways, I hear that he's appealing it, so hopefully he'll be back here on his normal channel. But until then, you guys can go watch him over at Pinball Prepping, and that's where he's been posting stuff. And he's a good guy. We've talked several times, and I think he's one of the good ones. He's a good upstanding person. So want to show you some stuff. This one you may have already seen. I don't know, it came out yesterday. 10-week supply of wheat for the whole planet. What this is a some type of expert company. They've done an analysis on the planet's supply of wheat, and this was at a UN Security Council meeting a few days ago. And with it, they explained that they use computer AI and on all this kind of stuff to come up with this number, which I don't think it's probably too far off. From everything that I have seen, that I have read, I think this is probably pretty accurate. That they believe that the entire planet has a 10-week supply of wheat, okay? That's scary, a 10-week supply of wheat. I know, there's a lot of people that still believe that here in the United States that we have these massive supplies, that our government stores wheat. We used to store wheat, and we don't anymore. We haven't for a long time. I don't know exactly when we stopped doing it, but I can tell you for a fact that the United States government does not have like a, how we have the strategic oil reserve? We don't have a strategic wheat reserve. Not anymore. We used to, but no longer do we do that. And here we are seeing that the whole world, in this article, surprisingly, they say that even though it makes it sound, at least the headlines of this article make it sound like it's all Putin's fault. But if you read into it and you read into the report that was given to the UN Security Council, they say that it's not, that he didn't cause this, that Putin invading Ukraine didn't cause this, but it did exacerbate this problem. That this problem has been building for a few years now. Of poor policies, this thing of switching over to green energies and green farming and all this kind of stuff. There's a whole lot of it, a lot of reasons that's causing this. And then also the drought. Now, a lot of you saying, yeah, but we're just getting into the, a lot of places are just kind of now starting to harvest their wheat. Well, that may be true, but the wheat harvest for the winter wheat, all the numbers that I have seen everywhere show that it's down, that it's not looking good. And the spring wheat planting doesn't look good either. If you just noticed, if you looked last night, some of you experienced it personally, but last night and then tonight, there's expecting some pretty hard freezing weather at night in areas that planting has already happened. There's already a lot of droughts in some areas, and then there's a lot of excessive rain and flooding in other areas. And so the wheat crop this year is expected to be one of the worst wheat crops in a long time. In fact, I've seen numbers showing that it could be some of the worst wheat crops since the 1960s. we've grown a lot since the 1960s. So if that's true, that's not a very good sign. Canada's wheat crop isn't doing so good. India, they're not exporting it. And one of the reasons why they're not exporting is because it's done so bad. They're afraid they're not going to have enough for themselves. They've had such excessive heat in India that it's really hurt their wheat crop. So 10 weeks supply, give or take, I'd say that's probably fairly accurate from everything that I've looked at. 10 weeks supply of wheat. That puts us in the first week of August. And this is going to go with what I was saying in the beginning of this video, that I think we're about to see all of this perfect storm start to come to a head by summer. Now, I don't believe summer, the end of summer, mid to end of summer, I don't believe that's when it's finally the big one goes up and it's the full fecal matter hitting the fan. I think it's going to hit a point by summer that it's going to be hard to ignore that this problem exists. That's what most everyone is doing. They're ignoring this problem. They believe that, well, this is all hype. It's not really that big a deal. Yeah, now we have food, baby formula shortage, but you know, I mean, we'll work it out. And then there's even those amongst us preppers that are trying to convince ourselves that maybe it's just not as bad as what we're hearing. I think by this summer, late summer, it's going to be overtly obvious that things are really bad. Inflation, shortages, supply chain problems, gas prices, wars, everything. Excuse me. It's going to be pretty obvious. So 10 weeks supply of wheat, that puts us in the first week of August. Now, here's another one. And I talked about this just a few days ago. JP Morgan predicts that gas prices by August, $6.20 a gallon. And it could be worse, okay? That's just their prediction. At the rate we're going, it could be worse than that. But even at $6.20 a gallon for gasoline, and if that's what gasoline's going to be, diesel's going to be through the roof, especially with the worsening diesel shortages, serious, very serious diesel shortages. We could see easily $8 to $10 a gallon diesel by summer. Do you understand what that's going to do to the overall economy and the supply chain and everything? Everything. When we start seeing gas prices and diesel prices hit those levels, it's gonna, America's never, I mean, we've never seen gas prices that we're dealing with right now. How much worse do you think it's going to be when it's another 50% higher than what it is right now? Huh? It's going to be bad, folks. The supply chain, it's not going to be good by then either. All of you have been keeping up on the whole Shanghai lockdown. You know, they've been locked down. They've locked down their ports. They've locked down their manufacturing and their trucking and all that stuff. Well, they're finally starting to lift that lockdown. Okay, they think they've got the under control, and so they're lifting that lockdown. And the prediction is that by this summer season, that the United States ports and supply chain is going to be hurting bad. Why? Because 20+% of all ships on this planet have been sitting in limbo in Shanghai port for the last 8 weeks, and they're about to be turned loose. Okay, and so the shipping port congestion that we saw last summer ain't going to be nothing compared to what it's going to be this year. In fact, here's an article here predicting that the supply chains are never going back to normal. Stop thinking that it's just going to get better. It's never going to happen. And this is a little bit more extreme opinion, but I've seen other articles saying that the supply chain problem is going to last well past 2023 and 2024. Like this problem is here for several years. And others are saying that as of this, it's never going away. This article here, they surveyed 200 industry people within the supply chain. I don't know who those are, but it says they're industry experts and that work in the supply chain. They surveyed 200 of them, and the vast majority of them predicted that 2022 this summer season of 2022 for the supply chain and shipping industry is going to be the worst ever. That it's going to, be vastly worse than last year, and that it's going to be the worst this planet's ever seen. Now, these are just a few things that I'm pointing out, and isn't it interesting? I mean, there's a couple of you, and I know if you're listening to watch this video, you'll know who you are. There's a few of you that post frequently of pretty much the same comment, and it's something like, there are no coincidences, or I no longer believe in coincidences. I see this often. And it's a lot of times it's from the same people, and I enjoy it because I agree with you. I stopped believing in coincidences a long time ago. So just for having a little fun, isn't it a coincidence that here we have several things, and I'm only pointing out a few, okay? There are other things, this war between Russia and Ukraine, there's all kinds of predictions of how bad it's going to be by summer, okay? There's so many things by summer, this monkeypox thing. We've already got the president out talking about it and issuing warnings and stuff, and they're saying that this one, unlike the that only is really bad in the wintertime, this one's bad in the summertime. Okay, this one's going to be bad in the summertime. So here we have multiple things that seem to be coming to a peak in or about August. Okay, wheat's running out, gas prices skyrocketing, diesel shortages may hit a major point by August. Supply chains are going to peak. The port congestion and everything's going to peak by summer. All these things. Call me crazy. Call me a, conspiracy theorist. I don't care, whatever. But I'm starting to see a pattern here that seems to be pointing that by this summer, by August, first week of August, that we could start seeing some really tough times. And I have been saying that for a while. Again, let me repeat it, because I don't want anyone to misunderstand my words. I am in no way predicting that the duties hitting the fan full on, because it has been a little trickling for a while. But I'm talking full on hitting the fan by August. That's not what I'm saying, okay? In fact, my personal gut feeling is that by winter and then next year is going to even be worse. I think next year is going to be worse than this year. I'm saying that I think that the system, the overall system of America has been functioning. There's been enough of it that's functioned somewhat normally that up until now, you and I see the holes in it. You and I see the cracks and the falling apart. But the majority of Americans, when they see that, they just kind of ignore it, because they see that, well, the rest of it's functioning pretty well. So maybe that's just it's just a little hiccup along the way. I think there's a very good chance that come August, it will become so apparent that there's no way that most people, other than the ones that are just complete blind sheep, but that most people won't be able to just turn away and look the other way and say, oh, it's nothing. I think it's going to start to become very obvious by summer. And of course, isn't that a coincidence that this is just, a couple of months or so before the midterm elections? Who knows how they'll make things twist and turn to benefit them in that way. But that's almost another subject altogether. I think it's going to start getting pretty rough. Come winter and next spring, I think it's going to be really bad. I think that this summer, I think by August, it's going to start becoming really painful to go to the grocery store to just get your normal supplies, because prices are going to go up because of general inflation. Prices are going to go up because of shortages. Prices are going to go up because of supply chains slow down even more and congestion. And so everything's going to become a lot more expensive. So by August, right now you're noticing it and you're complaining, but most people, average person, is able to kind of move things around and make it work. Come August, it's going to start being painful by, next spring, you could really see some serious shortages, like real shortages, really bad problems. But folks, I could be completely off on this. I mean, the whole world could start falling apart next week. I mean, it could happen way faster than August, because I know some of you think it's going to happen faster than August. And there's a portion of me that agrees with that. I'm saying from this most conservative analyst, that I can come up with, the most conservative, understanding of everything that's going on, I'd say by August, things are going to start getting rough. So continue to prep. That doesn't mean that you can kind of slack off and then, 2 weeks, mid-July, start ramping it up. That means you have a short amount of time to start getting really ready, because here we have numerous things that I've pointed out today that seem to all be going to get really bad by August. Is that a sign? Is that a signal that they're sending us? Are they just trying to get everyone conditioned because they know by then things are going to be really bad? I don't know. It just seems a little strange that there's several different things that are being talked about that they say by August it's going to get really bad. So folks, get your houses in order, stock up, plant your gardens, preserve your food, raise things, grow things, learn things, mentally prepare, emotionally prepare spiritually, and make as many connections as you can with other people, because things are moving, I think, quite rapidly, and we need to get ourselves ready. Folks, prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and most especially spiritually. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.